Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and for those who don't care about any of this, oh well, have a nice day. Logan Valley Mall in Altoona, Pennsylvania is Crown American's only two-floor mall. Despite catching fire and requiring a rebuilding, the mall is still holding out today. Join me as we tour this Pennsylvania Crown American decked out for the holidays. Logan Valley Mall began life in November of 1965 as an open-air mall with just a handful of stores. Sears and Weis Markets would serve as anchors for the mall, with JCPenney coming to the mall in 1966. Following this, the mall would be enclosed and would host a grand opening in June of 1967, with the mall quickly gaining in popularity. An expansion would be included for the mall in 1979, bringing forward a Hess's department store. Weis Markets would duck out early on, and I am unsure of what happened to it. The most notable event in this mall's history was a major fire that broke out in the mall, which ended up destroying about half of the mall. Following this fire, a plan to rebuild and rehab the mall was immediately launched. First, the Hess's store would get replaced by a Kaufmann's, followed by a revamp and rebuild of the two-floor portion of the mall, as well as some changes to tenants. The next part in the renovations would bring forward a new parking garage as well as an 8-screen Carmike cinema. And rounding off the renovations and repairs, JCPenney would build a new and larger store closer to Sears, while a food court would go up in its old place. The mall was saved from a premature fate and would continue operations to this day. Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust would acquire the mall in 2003 along with the rest of the Crown American portfolio and would take over operations. During this time, May department stores and Federated department stores would merger in 2005, and all of their department stores would merger under one single name, Macy's. From there, things would be relatively quiet until 2017, when Carmike Cinemas would be acquired and vored by AMC Theaters. Unfortunately, in 2017, the mall would be sold off from Priet to Namdar Realty and Mason Asset Management, signaling the end of the golden age for the Logan Valley Mall. Besides Sears realizing its inevitability in 2018, the real problems would arise in 2020 thanks to you-know-what. However, the mall has managed to come out on the other side and is still doing relatively well as of the making of this video. However, with the way everything is, 2021 will be the deciding factor, not only for this mall, but the rest of the nation. Will the Logan Valley Mall survive? We can only wait and see at this time. While here, I decided I would go inside Macy's and get a quick look around. And while we're here, I've been finding out that Macy's is quietly closing stores. In fact, everyone is quietly closing stores, and the only public announcements we get is if any companies file bankruptcy. So if you're watching this, and you have a mall nearby, check for store closing signs. It could be happening in your area. Overall, this particular Macy's isn't the worst store I've seen. It's clean, and it's fairly well stocked, besides that empty area upstairs. Perhaps if I were to go further in and do a more thorough tour, I might find issues. But for now, upon a first glance, it's a decent store. For now, though, let's get back to the mall. And while the architecture itself is somewhat plain, the pastel colors of the tiles, pillars, and railings do help make this mall pop and appear a bit more vibrant. It's also interesting to see that seating area in front of Macy's, with all the potted plants around it and the astroturf on the ground, making it look a little more like an outdoorsy area. It is certainly better than those gray carpet circles with dark furniture on top. This mall comes off as a 90s mall thanks to the renovations, and for me, I am happy with the 90s, the good and the bad. The mall itself does have a fair number of mainstays to pick from, at least when I was here in very late October 2019. Things have probably changed drastically thanks to it, but before then, this would have been a mall perfect for the community. You had some of the mainstays like H&M, GameStop, Zumiez. You even had a Tilt Studio. And add on to the places to eat between the food court and those sit-down restaurants on the front, and you'd have modest success. And then for 2020 to happen the way it did, that's just an insult to all of us. I haven't much in the way of story time for this mall. It was a nice place, but there was just no events worth mentioning while I was at the mall. I suppose the Christmas stuff they were putting up was nice, especially the display in front of JCPenney. But overall, this mall was just business as usual on my second to last mall in the October trip. Enough from me, though. As we look at this display, we are getting ready to head back out real soon. What did you think of this mall? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do share your comments down below. One more time, I personally like this mall and the 90s charm that it gave off, and I do hope that it manages to make it through these brutal times. Once again, I would like to thank you for joining me on a walkthrough of Logan Valley Mall, as well as its Macy's. If you enjoyed the video, do drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. The backlog still holds dozens of malls for us to tour, discuss, and reminisce about. Do join me for those. And of course, share these videos if you think others should see it. We need to get something going if we want to see these places, even for a little bit longer. Thanks for having me, Altoona. And until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Logan Valley Mall farewell and good luck in this mad, mad, mad world.